Hey guys, welcome to part 15 of What If Yuji Was an Uchiha. Last time we left off after Yoruzu taking over Megumi's sister's body and Sukuna forcing Yuji to feed Megumi his finger, allowing Sukuna to switch to Megumi's body. With everyone caught up, let's begin. While Yuji was in despair and unguarded, Sukuna blitzed him with extreme speed, delivering a blow so powerful that it sent his former cage crashing through an entire building. As Yuji was sent flying and crashed across a rooftop, Maki and Takeba noticed the disturbance and rushed toward the scene. Sukuna commented that insects always came crawling out of the woodwork, no matter the age. He then used the 10 Shadows technique to summon New, his version of the Shikigami much larger and imposing than Megumi's. New sent down several bolts of electricity to the ground, surprising Maki and Takeba. Shortly after deploying his attack, Sukuna was suddenly attacked from behind by several beams of light. Hana was the one ambushing him with blasts of light, making it too bright to see while burning his body. Sukuna quickly realized that the angel likely helped Hana regain consciousness so quickly. Hana didn't want to hurt Megumi, but the angel expressed that they must take the risk to eliminate the disgraced one before he achieved a stronger hold over the body. Channeling the angel's strength, Hana used an extension technique to hit Sukuna with maximum cursed energy output, Jacob's ladder. This conjured a giant cylinder of light down from the sky that struck Sukuna. Hana expressed her desire to be with Megumi and repeatedly demanded Sukuna give him back. Sukuna survived the blast but was visibly injured from the technique. It initially appeared as if the impact allowed Megumi to regain control of his body. He claimed to remember Hana and motioned for her to embrace him. Hana desperately clung to Megumi despite the angel repeating several times not to. Just as they embraced, Sukuna's head grew into a monstrous shape, poised to tear the girl to shreds. Having successfully lured her into a trap, Sukuna ripped off Hana's right arm and wing. He called her a foolish human through and then ruthlessly threw her over the side of the building, where she appeared to fall to her death. Having recovered from the strike Sukuna hit him with, Yuji watched in cold horror as this transpired. Sukuna noticed a loud noise and walked over to the building's edge, where he met Yuji's gaze. The noise was from Yuji's landing when he leapt to the rooftop of another building on his way up. Sukuna expressed his disinterest, but Yuji suddenly closed the distance between them in a single leap. Sukuna attempted to grab Yuji by his collar, but Yuji saw the attack coming and whacked his arm away, then delivered 3 powerful punches, 2 to his chest and 1 to Sukuna's face. While yelling Sukuna's name in rage, their clash destroyed the building, and Sukuna fell down to ground level. Immediately after landing, Sukuna was hit with a large piece of the building sent from Yuji. He was confused by Yuji's astounding level of physical strength. Yuji tried to put pressure on Sukuna, but he avoided the onslaught and knocked him back. Sukuna figured Kenjaku did something twisted involving another time period. Yuji tried to engage again while angrily asking why Sukuna and others like him couldn't simply live a normal life instead of spreading misery. As Yuji closed in on Sukuna, the King of Curses grew more desperate to keep him at bay. He unleashed his shrine technique, sending multiple slashes toward Yuji with incredible speed. However, using his Sharingan, Yuji was able to anticipate the slashes and dodge them with precise movements. Despite the increasing difficulty as he got closer to Sukuna, Yuji managed to weave between the slashes, albeit not without sustaining some shallow cuts along the way. Undeterred, he pressed forward until he landed a powerful right hook to Sukuna's jaw. Confused by Yuji's resilience, Sukuna questioned how he could withstand the attacks. He realized that it wasn't Yuji's toughness, but rather his own low cursed energy output that allowed him to tank the slashes. Irritated by this realization, Sukuna cursed Megumi for resisting from within. Just then, Maki joined the fray, apologizing for her late arrival and asking for a quick explanation. Sukuna, surprised by Maki's appearance, noted that she hadn't been damaged by New's earlier attack and recognized her as a formidable opponent. Still fueled by rage, Yuji assured Maki that he wouldn't die even if they killed him. The three of them engaged in a fierce battle, their movements blurring as they exchanged blows with lightning speed. Yuji and Maki coordinated their attacks, overpowering Sukuna in hand-to-hand combat. When Sukuna attempted to knock Yuji away, he dodged and, with Maki's assistance, sent the King of Curses flying. Yuji then restrained Sukuna's arms by wrapping a gate around him, prompting Sukuna to remark on the dullness of Yuji's approach. Maki followed up by kicking Sukuna into a wall, but the King of Curses emerged uninjured. Impressed by Megumi's body's fighting prowess, Maki wondered if Sukuna could heal wounds dealt by her split-soul katana with reverse cursed technique. Before they resumed fighting, Maki clarified with Yuji that their goal was to stop Sukuna, even if it meant killing Megumi. Yuji affirmed, and Maki warned him that things were about to speed up. With determination, Yuji, Maki, and Sukuna ramped up their speed and engaged in rapid exchanges of hand-to-hand combat. The students used feints to force Sukuna into mistimed blocks, allowing Yuji to land a punch in his side. However, Sukuna quickly retaliated, deflecting their barrage of punches. Realizing that his power was most hampered when targeting Megumi's friends, Sukuna shifted his tactics, targeting the ground beneath them with his cleave, spider web technique. Maki nearly landed an uppercut, but she lost her footing, allowing Sukuna to land a powerful punch across her face. Despite the blow, Maki quickly recovered, leaving Sukuna impressed by her resilience. The fighters continued to zip around at high speeds, their movements a blur as they exchanged blows. Sukuna eventually managed to create some distance between them, but the battle was suddenly interrupted by the appearance of Yoram, who activated Frost Calm at its maximum cursed energy output. This created a large mass of ice aimed to encase Yuji and Maki without harming Sukuna. However, Yuji countered with his maximum output Fire Dragon Jutsu, melting through the ice just before it could freeze him. As the ice began to crack, Yuji activated his main Gekyo Sharingan and used shadow binding imprisonment on Sukuna, wrapping him in extremely durable shadows that threatened to crush him. Sukuna called it a cheap trick and attempted to cut through the shadows with Shrine, but Yuji kept replacing the damage, making its grip even tighter. Charging up a Chidori, Yuji rushed towards Sukuna at blinding speed. Realizing Sukuna couldn't free himself in time, Yoram created an ice wall, but Yuji drilled through it, arriving in front of Sukuna. However, Yoram intercepted the attack, taking it straight through the torso. Sukuna broke free of the shadows, using hand signs to strengthen his cleave and dismantle, slicing Yuji hundreds of times before punching him through the ice and multiple buildings. With Yoram healing the hole in their chest, Sukuna summoned New and expressed that his form was still incomplete. As Yuji broke through the ice and yelled angrily for Sukuna, he found himself bound to the ground as Sukuna and Yoram mounted New and began to fly away. Yoram asked Sukuna if they should kill Yuji, but Sukuna instructed them to enjoy the view. They mocked Yuji's desperate look as New flew far out of reach, leaving Yuji helpless and enraged as he watched them disappear into the distance. After emerging from the bath to submerge Megumi's soul in evil, Sukuna located Yorozu, who managed to escape when Sukuna took temporary control over Yuji's body. The two would have a fight, however Sukuna was holding back and killed her without a second thought, all to make Megumi suffer to stop him from resisting. Kenjaku used his 309 points to add new rules to the culling game. His Kogan rejected the first proposal because the new rules would work toward ending the culling game. However, Kenjaku gained leverage by threatening to destroy the central barrier of the game, which would forcibly stop the game but also prevent the merger with Tenjin. Kogan passed Rule 13, closing off the culling game to all new players. Kenjaku also added Rule 14, which would end the culling game when all players except for Suguru Geto, Megumi Fushiguro, and Yoram had died. Afterward, Kenjaku noticed Sukuna's mummified remains within the barrier and decided to take it to him as a souvenir. The sorcerers of Jutsu High quickly became aware of the rule change and believed it was possibly a condition to activate the Great Merger. Maki said the rules simplified things by making it so they would win if they could defeat Kenjaku and Sukuna. Ui argued that was as great a challenge as taking down Satoru Gojo, and Maki replied that the very same man was about to make a comeback. Shokoyai treated the wounds Hana Kuruzu sustained from Sukuna. Her arm was unable to be regenerated, and the angel revealed she only survived because of Rinamai and Fumihiko Takeba. Yuta asked the angel if they were able to switch bodies like Sukuna. She confirmed it was not possible for her and that everyone who accepted the invitation to the culling game couldn't become cursed objects after death. Sukuna learned how to do so after the experience. Yuta and the angel agreed that Hana's role was complete when Satoru Gojo was freed from the prison realm. Hana was more concerned about Megumi and what would happen to him. Yuji regrouped with the others and wanted to propose an idea to save Megumi. Yuta had an idea of his own, but Maki emphasized that no matter what, they would need to incapacitate Sukuna first. Choso gave Yuji Yukizukumo's book of notes on the soul, thanking him not only for the notes but also for his brothers. Yuji and Takeba took out the back of prison realm in the middle of the room. Confused, Hana asked if they were planning to unseal Satoru Gojo within the confines of the small space. Takeba took her comment as if they needed to freshen things up and be more lively for a welcome party. The angel was aware that time didn't flow in prison realm and emphasized that this could have affected Gojo's mental state. Everyone agreed to relocate, and they moved the back gate to Jutsu High Training Ground No. 4 in the Kiriko-min of Saitama Prefecture. When Takeba and all the students were in a safe position, Tug gave Hana the signal. She used Jacob's ladder on the back of prison realm while everyone watched in anticipation for the return of the strongest sorcerer. However, when the dust settled, the cursed object was gone with no sign of Gojo. Hana got defensive about the lack of Gojo's presence and denied it being her fault when suddenly there was an earthquake. Elsewhere, Kenjaku revealed that he placed prison realm in the subduction zone in the deepest area of the Japan Trench. He surrounded it with layers of seals and cursed spirits that served as detectors. This measure was put into place after Tenjin informed Kenjaku about the back gate. He believed these preventative measures could kill Satoru Gojo if he got free but failed to do just that. Kenjaku revealed all of this as he came face to face with the returning bearer of the Six Eyes, Gojo. Kenjaku taunted Gojo about his long rest, but Gojo told him to choose his last words more carefully. Ready to put an end to the imposter, Gojo activated blue and generated a large force of attraction. Kenjaku tried to resist the force of blue when Sukuna stepped in to confront Gojo in midair. Gojo commented on Megumi looking differently, and Sukuna asked if he remembered something as they descended to the ground. Sukuna reminded Gojo that he promised to kill him once he gained control of his vessel. Sukuna switched bodies but still planned to make due on his threat. Gojo replied by mocking Sukuna for taking orders from Kenjaku but also thought to himself about the things he needed to take care of before fighting. He wanted to properly mourn his best friend but recognized he wouldn't be able to kill Kenjaku while he had a binding vow with Sukuna keeping them as allies. Sukuna recalled Yorizu's comment about love and agreed to wait for a proper showdown. Gojo suggested they have their final battle on the 24th of December so Suguru could maintain a single date of death. Taken aback by Gojo's confidence, Kenjaku asked if the sorcerer didn't expect to lose. After recalling Yuji asking if he would lose to Sukuna, Gojo gave Kenjaku the same answer he did his young student, "Nah, I'd win." Okay guys, this is the end of this part of What If Yuji Was an Uchiha. If you enjoyed, leave a like and comment, as well as subscribing with notifications enabled. With that out the way, this is Demonic Saiyan saying bye.